Ethan had worked at Ashford Technologies for almost 3 years. The company was known for rewarding hard work, and his manager, Daniel Brooks, was admired by nearly everyone. Daniel was calm, intelligent, generous with bonuses, and always wore a warm smile that made employees trust him instantly. To Ethan, Daniel seemed like the perfect boss. At least, that's what everyone believed. The first strange incident happened late one Friday evening. Ethan had stayed behind to finish a project. As he walked past the conference room, he noticed Daniel sitting alone in complete darkness except for the glow of his laptop. Daniel wasn't working. He was watching security footage of employees from previous weeks. He replayed certain moments over and over, smiling whenever someone looked embarrassed or upset. Ethan frowned, assuming it was some unusual HR investigation, but something about Daniel's expression made him uncomfortable. When Ethan accidentally made a sound, Daniel instantly closed the laptop. "Oh," Daniel laughed. "Working late too?" "Yeah, just finishing reports." Daniel's smile returned. "Good. Hard-working people always get rewarded." The word sounded friendly. Yet somehow, they felt like a warning. Over the following weeks, strange things kept happening. Employees who disagreed with Daniel suddenly found themselves blamed for mistakes they never made. Private conversations somehow became public. People who questioned his decisions quietly resigned after suffering weeks of humiliation. No one ever accused Daniel. Instead, everyone assumed the victims were simply unlucky. Then came Olivia. She was one of the newest designers, kind, talented, and confident enough to question an unrealistic deadline during a team meeting. Daniel smiled politely. "That's valuable feedback." Everyone thought the conversation ended there. By the next week, Olivia's access cards stopped working. Important emails mysteriously disappeared. Clients complained about missing designs she had actually submitted. Within 2 weeks, she resigned in tears. Watching her clean out her desk, Ethan whispered, "Something isn't right." Olivia forced a weak smile. "I know. You should report him." "I tried." "What happened?" She looked around before answering. "They said Daniel provided evidence that I was unstable." Her voice trembled. "He records everything." She walked away before Ethan could ask another question. That night Ethan couldn't sleep. He started paying closer attention. Daniel had hidden cameras inside decorative office clocks. He secretly recorded meetings. He collected personal information about every employee. Birthdays, family problems, financial struggles, medical conditions. Then he quietly used those details against people whenever they became inconvenient. It wasn't random. It was calculated. Daniel enjoyed controlling people. One evening Ethan stayed after work again. He noticed Daniel entering a locked storage room. Curiosity overcame fear. After Daniel left, Ethan quietly unlocked the door using a spare maintenance key. Inside were dozens of neatly organized folders. Each folder had an employee's name. Inside his own file were printed emails, photos from company parties, social media screenshots, even notes describing his personality. Empathetic. Protective. Likely to sacrifice himself for others. The final sentence made Ethan's blood run cold. Potential threat if suspicious. Someone cleared his throat behind him. "Daniel." I wondered how long it would take. Ethan froze. Daniel calmly closed the door. "You know," Daniel said, "people think psychopaths are violent." He smiled. "They're usually wrong. You've been spying on everyone." "I've been studying them." "Why?" "Because people are predictable." Daniel walked slowly around the room. "If you know someone's fears, you own them." Ethan stepped backward. "You need help." Daniel laughed. No. I need loyalty. The next morning Ethan expected to be fired. Instead, Daniel promoted him. Everyone congratulated him. Higher salary. Private office. Company car. It seemed like a dream. Except Ethan knew the truth. Daniel wanted him close. Over the next month Daniel isolated Ethan from his co-workers. He assigned impossible deadlines. Scheduled meetings that conflicted with one another. Then criticized Ethan publicly whenever something failed. Soon people began whispering. Ethan's changing. He's becoming unreliable. Exactly as Daniel intended. One afternoon Ethan received an anonymous message. I believe you. Meet me after work. It was Olivia. She had spent months collecting evidence after leaving the company. Together they discovered Daniel had done the same thing at 2 previous companies. Each time several employees resigned. One suffered a nervous breakdown. Another lost his marriage after Daniel anonymously exposed private messages. Yet Daniel always escaped responsibility. He was charming. Successful. Untouchable. We need proof, Olivia said. Ethan nodded. But he'll know. He already does. The following week Daniel invited Ethan to dinner. The expensive restaurant overlooked the city lights. Daniel raised his glass. You've disappointed me. I know what you're doing. Ethan stayed silent. Daniel leaned forward. I've destroyed careers for less. You won't scare me. Daniel smiled. I don't need to. The next morning Ethan discovered fake financial documents suggesting he had stolen company funds. HR immediately suspended him. Coworkers avoided eye contact. Even his closest friends doubted him. Everything Daniel had built was collapsing around him. For the first time, Ethan felt completely alone. Then something unexpected happened. The office janitor, Mr. Harris, quietly approached him outside the building. I know you're innocent. Ethan looked surprised. How? I've watched Daniel for years. Why didn't you tell anyone? No one would have believed me. Mr. Harris handed Ethan a small flash drive. I've been making copies. The drive contained months of security footage showing Daniel planting documents, entering restricted offices, tampering with employee computers, and secretly installing recording devices. It was everything they needed. Instead of leaking it online, Ethan chose the legal route. He delivered every file to the company's board, outside investigators, and law enforcement. The investigation moved quickly. Daniel remained calm until investigators searched his office. Hidden hard drives. Illegal recordings. Forged documents. Psychological profiles. Everything was discovered. For the first time, Daniel's smile disappeared. As security escorted him out, he locked eyes with Ethan. You could have ruined me, Daniel said quietly. Ethan answered, you ruined yourself. Months later the company began rebuilding. Wrongfully dismissed employees were invited back. Olivia returned as head of the design department. Mr. Harris received an award for his integrity. Ethan was offered Daniel's former position. He surprised everyone by declining. I'd rather lead people than control them. Instead, he accepted a role mentoring new employees and helping create policies that protected workers from abuse and manipulation. One afternoon a nervous new intern accidentally spilled coffee over an important presentation. She burst into tears, convinced she would lose her job. Ethan smiled kindly. It's okay. I'll help you fix it. She stared at him in disbelief. Really? He nodded. Everyone deserves someone who chooses kindness over fear. As they worked together, Ethan realized something important. Daniel had believed power came from controlling people's weaknesses. But real strength came from protecting them. Fear could force obedience for a while. Kindness inspired loyalty for a lifetime. And in the end, it wasn't cruelty that defeated a psychopath. It was ordinary people who refused to stop caring for one another, even when fear told them to look away.